Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome. So, tonight I want to talk about historic buying zone for Bitcoin. What am I talking about? Well, I did see something very interesting. And historically, this is the time to be buying. So, why? Well, let's discuss this and other things that's going on in the world of crypto today. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and make sure you watch all of my videos on all of my channels. A lot of good ones out there. So, welcome, guys. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. Right now, Bitcoin is still a little bit better than this morning. Above 20,000. I mean, honestly, it's just going sideways. The U.S. market is also kind of going sideways. I did forget that we are heading into Labor Day weekend. So there will be a lot of people traveling, a lot of people taking vacations, probably starting tomorrow, right? So this weekend, probably lighter volume. But we did make it through the week with some volatility. But unfortunately, we haven't seen too much recovery. And that's because there are still so many people fearful. But there's one thing that's coming tomorrow. A lot of people are looking at this, and that is the monthly job report. Okay, so economists expect 318,000 jobs added in August. It's actually amazing to think about that. It's already September, right? But and a lot of people think, economists specifically think that if we're anywhere close to that, right, that's very good for the economy. That means the economy is still very strong. The labor force is strong. Unemployment is low, right? But the bad news is, if that's the thing, if that's the case, well, you know what's going to happen? The DXY is probably going to shoot up. DXY shot up today, right? And also, that's going to lead to a more aggressive Powell. He may be coming out swinging, right? With his rate hikes, kind of like Vitalik, swinging his big hammer around. So that's why people are kind of scared, right? So right now we're kind of in that situation where it's like great economic data is actually bad for the markets, right? We've gone through periods like this before, and it's not. I have to, some of you guys got that, but some, now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, so we're in that kind of period. So hopefully tomorrow, we actually don't get really good job numbers. Maybe we get little weaker numbers. That would be actually the best case scenario, right? So that the Powell is not going to be very aggressive. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. All right, moving on. What else is there? Well, unfortunately, Kyber Network, they got hacked. Very small hack. 2 whale addresses was targeted, and like $265,000 worth of assets were lost. But Kyber's go cover it. Somehow there's some front end exploit. I don't know what happened exactly, but still, it's a friendly reminder that even with DEXs, not just centralized exchanges, even with DEXs and bridges, right? Hacks still occur. So better safe than sorry. Get your ledger, right? Get a mobile wallet, get a ledger, get something that you control so that you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. Because even with DEXs, it still happens. This is not the first time Kyber got hacked. I remember back in 2020 or 2021, they were also hacked too. So there's still hacks. Luckily, this is very small. Only 2 whale addresses, 265,000. Not a big deal, but who knows? Some of the previous hacks were hundreds of millions, right? So, got to be careful. Got to be careful with your own crypto. All right, what else is there? Well, this is what I'm looking at. Historic buying zone. So I saw this article on CoinDesk talking about how Bitcoin traders' outlook is so bleak that some see it as a buying opportunity, right? Well, that makes sense. When everyone is panicking, when there's blood in the streets, right? That's usually when you want to buy. But this is what's interesting. If you look at right now, Bitcoin at 20,000 is below its 200 weekly moving average, which historically speaking, there only 4 times before this has happened. And look at the times afterwards. Okay, after, let me see if I can zoom in here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Take a look. So twice in 2015, once in 2018, and one in 2020. Okay, so obviously 2015, Bitcoin was much smaller, 175, 217, but look at it, right? After it broke below the 200 weekly moving average, guess what happened? 1 month later, 3 months later, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, boom, like straight up to the moon. Happened in 2018 too. Happened in 2018. Look at the returns after 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And then in 2020, remember that horrible COVID crash, right? Look at what followed behind. If you're one of those that panic sold when Bitcoin fell below 4,000, right, or 5,000, wherever it may be, look at the returns you would have missed afterwards, right? This is why it's important to have patience, right? Because sometimes, yes, very bad moments happen. Lots of volatility, especially now, right? We're seeing a lot of it. But this is why you don't want to miss out. Because if you miss out when the market recovers and gets back up, you're going to be really regretting it, right? So we are right now below the 200 weekly moving average. So historically speaking, this is the buy time. This is the buy zone that you want to be stacking sats, right? Now, I'm sure if you look at some of these periods, maybe Bitcoin was below the 200 weekly moving average for a while. It could have been days, weeks. There could have been more volatility. There could have been more downswings, right? Like if you look at March of 2020, this shows 4,900, but Bitcoin did go down to 3,800. It did go down more, right? So near term, there could be more volatility. There's no guarantee that 17,000 or whatever, 20,000 where we are is the absolute bottom. There could be more downside, right? But if you're playing the long game, if you're looking at 3 months, 6 months, year, 2 years out, 5 years out, what you want to do is you traditionally buy when there's certain panic periods that pretty much scares everyone out of the market, right? And when that happens, that's usually when you want to pounce. And we're in one of those moments right now, right? So very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And this is not the only data. No, not only bottom reversal point that we have. There's many others. Here's another one for those of you guys that like technicals. So this is looking at the 50 MA monthly moving average and 100 MA. This is both monthly, right? The 50 moving average is about to cross above the 100 moving average. Okay? The last 2 times this has happened, look at it, 2015, 2018, you can clearly see this is a great chart, and look at where RSI was at those times. Bottom, right? Right around that 40 mark. Both times previously, and this doesn't happen very often because this is on the monthly scale, right? Both times, look at what has happened afterwards. And guess where we are? Right there. RSI, I know my camera's cutting it off, is really low, around that 40 mark. And the 50 moving average is about to cross the 100. So this is a pretty bullish sign, right? Pretty bullish chart that shows, yeah, we are in recovery, right? And this is the time to be buying. This is a historic buying zone for Bitcoin. So there's a lot of these out there. But again, near term, short term, a lot of headwinds, macro stuff, Powell stuff that we have to worry about, right? But long term, this is where you buy, right? And there have been many people taking advantage of buying. Not just people, whales. Whale addresses skyrocket to a 6-month high despite bearish sentiment. Why do you think that's happening? Because the whales know better. They buy when other people are fearful. So that's why whale addresses continue to go up, right? And take a look at this. 829,000 Bitcoins removed from exchanges within the last 2.5 years. Okay, 2.5 years. So we peaked right around 2020, somewhere around that COVID crash, around the March timeframe. And since then, with the up and downs of Bitcoin, the important thing is close to 1 million Bitcoin has been removed from exchanges. And that continues to go down. Down, 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 down. The number of Bitcoins on exchanges equal to about 2018 level. And we continue, it's going to get scarcer and scarcer and scarcer. So keep that in mind, right? Bitcoin is only going to get more scarce going forward. It's not like gold where you could just double the gold that you have instantly with a big find. You can't do that with Bitcoin. It's already set in stone, right? So great things for Bitcoin, right? But it's the same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum has a lot of historical bullish signals too, right? Here's one that's measuring the fund rate, which is actually the difference between like, wait a minute. Yeah. Interesting. I just noticed that this is saying, oh, okay. This is saying the lowest since June 4th, 2021. I was going to say, what? Did I find an old article? No, this is a 2022 article. This came out today. But it shows you the fund rate, which is basically the premium that the future traders pay to each other. Usually when the fund rate drops really low, that means that there's just not a whole lot of people that are, trading either way, right? So the fund rate has dropped to a very, very, very low level, which means that not a whole lot of people are betting against Ethereum at this point, right? It goes all the way back to June 4th of 2021, so like over a year. So no one wants to really short Ethereum at this point, and no one really wants to bet against it because Ethereum, we know, having a big upgrade soon. And just like Bitcoin, the balance on exchanges is dropping. It dropped to a 4-year low. Just like Bitcoin, how it keeps dropping, Ethereum balance on exchanges keeps dropping too. Again, people are buying. And what's causing the buying besides the big upgrade that's coming, right? But if you look at the active developer accounts, right, the whole ecosystem, the dApps, the TVL, DeFi, it's not even close. Ethereum is so far ahead of everyone else. It's not even a competition. But it's interesting to see that Cardano's number 2 above Polkadot. And then you have Cosmos. Solana dropped to number 5, interesting enough. Even Cosmos is at number 4. And then you have some other new players in the game like Near, Elrond, Hedera. Bitcoin's at number 9. And you have Polygon, Algorand, Celo, Avalanche, Optimism, Tron, and Fantom. Interesting, right? So it's not just Bitcoin buying. There's a lot of ETH buying going on. And remember, after the merge, ETH basically becomes deflationary just like Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. Well, speaking of Fantom wants to remind everyone that a lot of things happened on the Fantom network in August, right? You take a look at all these upgrades, these V2s, V3s, and new projects coming aboard. So Fantom is a project I do support. They're relatively small compared to some of the other L1s out there, but still, they're moving forward. They have a vast ecosystem and a pretty good, developer counts. So good for them. Also, I've been hearing a lot more about Hedera recently, right? So there is a new wallet that is coming that will support Hedera tokens, NFTs. It will provide native staking, smart contracts 2.0, and other scheduled transactions. Wow. So there's a lot coming to this Citadel wallet. So this could be a pretty big thing for Hedera. So that's pretty good. And lastly, for Ethereum Classic, a lot of people have been wondering, hey, where's all the hash power going to go when Ethereum makes the move, right? Well, this kind of shows you where it's going to go. Ethereum Classic's hash rate is at an all-time high and continues to go up. The interesting thing is ETH's hash power has not gone down yet Ethereum Classic's hash rate has gone up. So where is it coming from? I don't know. A lot of people anticipating that ETH Classic is going to be the next ETH when it comes to like mining, right? Even though some people cling on hope that miners will go to Flux or Ergo or any other project, right? But right now, it does seem like most people are concentrating on moving over to Ethereum Classic. A lot of pools have started with Ethereum Classic, right? So we will see. We will see. And just FYI, even though a lot of miners may move to Ethereum Classic, does not make it instantly more valuable. It may seem that way, it may make the network more secure for sure, but whether or not it's really going to pump up ETH Classic, that's yet to be determined, even though recently it has been making some moves. All right, that's pretty much it. Outside of, historic buying levels right now, or buy zone, not much else. If you look at the overall market cap, kind of clinging on, hanging in there. But I've been mentioning this quite a lot. Bitcoin dominance continues to go down ever so slowly, but yes, every day. Now it's down to 39.1%. Tomorrow, when I stream, we could be to like 38%. Right? Why is this? Well, because Bitcoin is hovering and many others are coming up. Like I noticed that Polygon, right? Polygon has been making moves, a lot of moves. In fact, this week, while most are in red, you could see Bitcoin's down 7%, Ethereum's down 6%, XRP is down 5%, Solana down 10%. Look at Polygon's up 7% for this week. So they're definitely making moves because a lot of projects, a lot of brands are moving to Polygon, right? So it's definitely good for them. And there's several others that are making moves as well, which is why slowly but surely BTC dominance is coming down. Interesting. Interesting. All right, let's do some Q&A, guys. Vegeta, that is hilarious. I'm not going to repeat it, but that's hilarious. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. I'm still scrolling, making sure I didn't miss out on any important questions. Let's see. Rena says my voice is beautiful. Thank you. I like to think it's my beautiful microphone that's causing that, but maybe it's just my voice. Joshua, thank you for that. I like Fantom. Good. Ergo is better than ETC. I know Felsar. Is it Fesar? Fesar? Felsar? No, Fesar. Whatever your name is. I know you're a big Ergo fan. Let's see. XRP statement. XRP for the win. Word sound says Plan B is writing formulas on his walls, calculating the RSI, Vitalik's pocket sock. Tech review. Kramer says crypto's going to zero. Well, he says that all the time. In fact, I had a video about it yesterday. You know how I feel about Kramer. He's not a crypto guy. He flip-flops like most retail investors. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Isn't September a bad month for markets historically? Yes, but if you look at some of these historic months for 2022, some of the great months we didn't have. It's like those historical month trends. You got to take it with a grain of salt because of what has happened prior, right? Especially this year. It's just a really wonky year, so it's different. I'm wondering, I didn't check DXY. DXY was like almost to 110 this morning. Yeah, it's still hovering there. 109.58. DXY being so high is not good. It could continue to go up. Tomorrow, if the job numbers come out to be spectacular, this DXY is shooting past 110, and that's not going to be good for markets. So DXY is just really, really, really high right now. Do you like Jeeps or a new Bronco? I definitely like the Bronco better. Bronco's just better made. It's a better made car or SUV. It's bigger, more comfortable. But I will say I drove the EV Jeep, the 4xe Jeep. It's pretty good. Probably not as capable of a regular Jeep, but it drove pretty nicely. But I definitely say Bronco for the win. Best Web3 project? Bitcoin. It was easy. Just go with Bitcoin. Darren asks, have I reviewed any hypercars? No, it's not easy for me to review a hypercar. Some of those other reviewers like Supercar Blondie, she travels everywhere in Dubai and, gets to borrow billionaires' cars and stuff like that. Like, I don't have access to that. I review normal cars. Give us your best and worst case scenario for pre-merge for Ethereum or for the market. For Ethereum, I don't think anything's going to change. I think it's going to be very bullish up to that merge point. Afterwards, maybe you get a little sell-off because, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. But people who do sell it off afterwards, I honestly think they haven't thought it through. They're just trying to guess. But the reason why Ethereum is so bullish, or why I'm bullish on Ethereum after the merge, is because it becomes deflationary. That's the reason. ETH issuance drops by 90%. 90% immediately. And all those staked ETH and staking rewards cannot be collected for like 12 months afterwards. So you end up seeing the chain become very, very deflationary. So, that's why I think, holding on ETH is a good idea right now. Even though there may be a sell-off afterwards, some people may not understand. They're like, I'm just going to dump it, whatever, right? But it will recover, and I do think overall it'll be good for ETH. When do you think Fed pivots? 2023, 2024? I mean, it really depends. As aggressive as they have been in the U.S., we're still seeing some phenomenal numbers, relatively speaking, right? Obviously, inflation's not good. Prices have gone up, yes. But, you look at jobs overall, this is what Powell's been saying all along. Unemployment's low. Jobs are still, a lot of employers still hiring. Every restaurant I go to, every retail store I go to have a help wanted sign out front. There's actually a shortage of people still, right? And, these kind of things are usually in a recession, usually in a bad recession. It's the opposite. You see everyone laying people off. You see unemployment skyrocket. You see consumer confidence drop to basically negative. No one wants to spend any money. No one has any money to spend. But right now, it's the complete opposite. It's a Fed-induced recession, but it's not nearly as bad as some of the previous recessions. Nowhere close to it. So if this continues, even after rate hikes that's coming this month, and then there's another one in November and December, even with all that, if the demand is still strong, Fed is probably not going to pivot in 2023, probably 2024, unless things really start coming down, right? Demand really get curbed, and inflation really starts coming down. Then they may pivot, but probably won't be until at least the second half of 2023. That's the way I see things right now. Obviously, things could change really quickly. Maybe war escalates or something like that. That'll change things drastically really overnight. But if we're going the same course right now, you know, I don't think the Fed is going to pivot anytime soon. Thoughts on Everrise having 63% of the supply stake? No thoughts. Everrise is a meme coin. It's a copy of others, so no thoughts. You could have the shittiest coin and have 99% of the supply stake. Does not make it more valuable. Just to throw that out there. Nate says, shout out to my daughter, Madison. Hey, Madison, or Maddie. I forgot what. Oh, I used to watch the show, Bosch. Calls his daughter, Maddie. I don't know if I could call your daughter Maddie or Madison, but hello. And sorry for just swearing just then. Coinbase still okay. Lawsuit keeps mounting on. As far as I know, I don't think they're going to be taken down. Coinbase is too big to be taken down. Since you like Bronco Lightning, any interest in Ford stock? Actually, it's funny that you asked that, because I was just telling my friend who's the biggest Tesla nut. I'm like, Tesla has to watch out. I know Rivian and Lucid, that's the two companies everyone's looking at. Like, oh, they could be Tesla killers. No. Who could be a Tesla killer is Ford. I mean, I'm so blown away with the Lightning. I'm still blown away with it. It's such a good truck, and it's out. Unfortunately, dealerships are marking them up like $100,000 so no one could afford it. But if Ford can mass produce Lightnings in 2023 at the price that they're supposed to be at, it's going to dominate the market. I can't tell you how good that truck is. Well, I will, because I'm going to release that review video on Saturday. But it's so good. Ford killed it with it. And the Mach-E's also are selling well. In California, when I was in California, I saw Mach-E's everywhere. So Mach-E's are selling well. And if they can get, you know, the same kind of EV powertrain inside a Bronco, man, forget about it. They're going to dominate the U.S. market, especially in the truck sector. You know, if they could get an EV Explorer, you know, Explorer's really struggling. But if they could get an EV Explorer going, man, they're going to be in a really good spot. So actually, going back to what your question is, Ford stock, I'm tempted. I think they could actually have a really good future. Now, GM and everyone else is just really far behind. As for the big three. Bigfoot, you know that not all Lightnings cost $93,000, right? The Pro cost, it was at $40,000, which is amazing. But then they upped it to like $46,000 because of supply chain constraints. But not every Lightning is at $93,000, all right? That's, you know, it's funny that people always say that because they're trying to knock on it. And like, again, like bag holders, like, oh, I have to knock a EV truck because I have a V8 truck and I have to protect my realm. It's like, why? You don't need to protect your realm. I love V8s. But there's no doubt that the EV Lightning is, in my mind, far greater than any other F-150 out there. It's not even close. But, you know, you got diesel guys, you got gas guys that all like just say, oh, it's garbage, without even ever testing one or driving one or knowing anything about it. What Lego sets did you pick up recently? None, but there's a lot. I just saw a new lighthouse that came out. I want to pick that up. There's a huge Harry Potter train. I want to pick that up. I mean, but I didn't pick them up because there's just, I have no room for them. No room. California electric grid is running down. Well, they better up it because they're the ones that set the rule in 2035 you can't buy a gas-powered car. So they better fix that problem ASAP. Has any crypto made a transition from proof of work to proof of stake before? I'm pretty sure there has been, but none that comes to mind. I'm positive that that has happened before, but I can't think of any. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe there hasn't been any project, but that would be a surprise. What's your prediction on how long it'll take AI to replace majority of labor jobs? I think it's going to be a while. AI is... That term is thrown out way too loosely, all right? Machine learning and stuff like that is not really AI. You're talking about like sentient beings, like robots that could really think for themselves and actually just do everything that humans do. That's gonna take a long time. There are certain jobs, of course, in manufacturing, stuff like that, that could be replaced right away. But for all jobs, office jobs and all that stuff, it's gonna be a while. It's not an 80-mile range when towing, man. And all these guys are in the chat saying, oh, you can't tow for this and that. You know, how often do you tow? You know, I truly wonder. Because it seems like majority of truck buyers in the U.S. do not use it for work at all other than going to Home Depot, right? I understand there are people that actually truly tow every single day, but then you wouldn't get a F-150. You get a Super Duty. You get a 250 or 350 if you really needed to tow a ton, right? You don't get a half ton. You get a 3/4 ton or something like that. But eventually those will be beefed up too. And Tesla is working a semi-truck, which obviously is meant for towing, 16-wheelers or whatever. But yeah. Someone made a funny comment, but I'm not gonna repeat what he said. Richard, I don't know. You might be right, but I mean, if you really need to tow every single day, right, because of your work, you want to get a Super Duty. But if you want to tow occasionally, yeah, I see the F-150 would be better suited. But again, it depends on how much you're towing, how often you go tow, and the range, even though it does go down, it's not as horrible as some people say it is. Saw a Rivian R1S on the street for the first time. It looks nice. It does look nice. All Rivians look pretty nice. Shout out to Home Depot or Menards if you're in the Midwest, or Lowe's. Do you think Terra Classic could hit $1? No, it cannot. Never. Ever. That's the thing about people that are gambling with Luna Classic, and I've said this before. If you want to gamble, go ahead. You can make a quick buck by trying to trade Luna Classic while it's pumping. But, you see everyone scream, oh, it's going to hit $1. Have anyone ever calculated what the market cap of Luna Classic will be if it hits $1? Because right now it's like 5 decimal points away. So if it hits $1, it would command like 100 trillion market cap. Probably 100 trillion, maybe even more than that. It's crazy what the market cap would be if it hit $1, which means it can never hit $1. And that is the type of thing that these guys that are trying to pump it will never make you realize it. They'll just say, yeah, it's going to head to $1. No, it's not. The market cap would be bigger than the market cap of the stock market of the world, right? It's not. But can it go higher? Sure. If people are pumping it enough, sure, it could go higher. But it'll never go to $1. Time to load up on Doge and Sheeb. I mean, as good as a time as any. Doge had a pretty bad week, minus 10%. Sheeb had a worse week at 12%. I mean, if the market turns around, sure. I mean, it could be a good buying opportunity. When I DC'd yesterday, like I was looking at them, and an Avalanche down 18%. That's ouch. Solana down 11%. Ouch too. So these are good DCA candidates, I would say. Have I changed my mind on Litecoin? No, I have not. You're not calculating 1.2% burn. No, you're not calculating 1.2% burn. Go calculate it and tell me when 6 trillion will be burned off. In 100 lifetimes? Tell me how long it's going to take to even burn off 1 trillion. Like 100 years? No. 1.2% burn tax is not going to decrease the supply in any significant way. Again, Luna Classic pumpers do not want you to know that. Yay, 1.2%. We added 6 trillion to Luna Classic. How long is it going to take to get rid of 6 trillion? Or 1 trillion? It won't happen in your lifetime. Please consider doing another altcoin review, top 50 or so. I mean, I do cover it quite a lot. Right now it's still, even though altcoins are doing somewhat okay, it's still not, most people are not ready to look at smaller caps. Most people are still gravitating to big caps. And rightfully so, because they're the ones that are recovering the most, right? If you go down to 50, it's really not far of a list. If you look at around 50, Theta, Axie, Aave, Elron, Chiliz, Hedera, Sandbox, Tezos, Decentralized, Ape. Those are all projects that I like. Not sure on EOS, even though they're making a huge transition. Not a fan of ICP, VeChain, Algorand, Flow. These are great projects. Near, Chainlink, Cosmos, Uniswap, Avalanche. Let's throw Sheeb, Polygon, Polkadot, Doge, Solana, Cardano, BNB, Ethereum, Binance, and Bitcoin. These are ones that I like from the top 50. Zcash went from proof of work to proof of stake. Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. I knew there was another project, but didn't know that. Okay, Aquarius. Obviously, you're a Luna Classic shill, so you tried to fool me into thinking what I thought, and now you're trying to answer. So obviously, you've already been brainwashed. Again, if you enjoy the pumps, great. If you want to gamble, great. But don't come in here and say it's a great investment. It's not going to burn $2 billion in a month. Think about it. In order to burn $2 trillion a month at a 1.2% burn rate, your volume has to be, what, $200 trillion worth of volume per month? Did you do the math? You didn't do the math. Sky Medium, hey, appreciate it. Appreciate the compliment. ApeCoin, I still do like ApeCoin. I think Yuga Labs, right now with NFTs, is kind of weak, but when they figure it out, when they come out their game, right, ApeCoin is going to benefit from that. What if IRS makes Sailor liquidate hundreds of millions? Why would the IRS do that? First of all, the IRS is not attacking Sailor. Okay? It's the Attorney General of D.C. And second of all, they're only suing him for $25 million. So why would they make him sell hundreds of millions of Bitcoin? It has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Sailor has $25 million stuffed away in his couch. You could pay that like it's nothing. They're just trying to make him, set an example with him. Make him a poster boy of, oh, our new law, and we're going to go after everyone. It's not a big deal. Jason, I still have no thoughts on Quant. I have all those except Flow and Uni. We'll look into them. Uni I like because it's DeFi. I think DeFi is only going to get stronger. And Flow, you know, they're really into NFTs. And they made some big partnerships recently. Ticketmaster is going to launch NFT tickets on Flow. That's a big one. That's a really big one. And Meta is also going to utilize Flow too to, well, at least showcase NFTs from Flow. Why does Binance keep lowering APY on tokens? Actually, that's, at least for Binance US, that's not true. I have not kept up with Binance.com. But, you know, these exchanges, like Binance, what they're doing is they pass on the staking rewards from the chain. So if the chains natively are lowering APY, so will Binance, right? Binance just makes it convenient. So if you have a lot of funds, a lot of crypto on Binance already, right, you can stake it directly and not worry about, you know, moving it off and staking it in some other native wallet. But that's probably the reason. But overall, like for Binance.us, I keep getting like new emails about new tokens that they will give you staking rewards, and they're quite high. Some of them are like really high. So I'm actually quite surprised by it. And Binance.us, and being the US, still offers staking rewards too. Again, it's different than what Celsius and Voyager did, which was loan out tokens, right, to give you those rewards. These kind of staking rewards are different because they're basically just utilizing your coins to stake and then passing on the rewards to you. Do you think things will rocket up in October, November like it did in the past 2 years? I'm hoping so. You know, the Christmas rally or, you know, winter rally, right? If we don't get horrible numbers, if things do improve, let's say Powell, you know, he doesn't raise rates crazily, and, you know, earnings are still good. I mean, there could be a lot of things happening. We could get a decent recovery, maybe not rocket recovery like what you said, but maybe a decent recovery. Anthony, appreciate it. Let's see. MP, I get a lot of that. A lot of complaints from wives. I get it. But you got to tell them, hey, you're doing it for them. You're watching me because you're building life-changing wealth for the both of you. So make her understand that. And if she doesn't, well, I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, guys. That is it. Overall, we'll see what happens tomorrow. This weekend, Labor Day weekend, so probably lighter volume. But tomorrow we got big jobs report, so let's see what happens. If it is really, really good, probably will not be good for the markets. But if it's in line with expectation or below, that could actually help markets. So we will see. We will see. All right? Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Oh, by the way, before I go, take a look at this.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.